So this is really great. I'm the person who is not normally an MC. Trevor just assigns me roles at any given time, and he's like, do this, and I do it. So today I'm the MC.
You're kind of like a yes man, aren't you?
That's Mark. I'm joking.
No, Natasha knows how to say no.
Yeah.
She does know how to say
That's an important thing.
I mean,
Yes.
very, very far and few in between. But if you catch me on a stressful day, the nose be flowing. But to that point, my name's Tosh, and if you do any project with us here at Temple City Studios, I will most likely be your lead because there's only one of me, one account manager, one project manager. I am both of those people.
So far.
So
We're
far.
still working on an AI version of Natasha.
Of me?
Of all of us. Someone's working on an
With
AI
a British
version of
accent, yeah.
I mean, I could turn it on anytime.
Yeah.
It's not
She
hard.
really can.
Yeah.
That's spooky.
Maybe through the course of us filming these, we could come up with a name for the character of you that's the British version.
Natasha, I've known you for 5 years, and I have not heard this accent before.
That's
What?
because she lives deep down inside of me.
Yeah. Wanting to get out.
But I was listening to an audiobook, and the girl talked like this, so it was very easy to mimic over a certain
That's
amount
calming.
of time.
Quite.
It is.
Quite.
But anyways, I do all of our project management currently. I make sure that whatever vision a client concocts in their brain, we bring to life. I work with Brecken on a daily basis. I work with Trevor on a daily basis. So tell them what you do.
Well, we're in my studio, so obviously I do music and production, audio stuff, set up this situation that you see.
Yep.
But also I'm a shooter. I go out on shoots and shoot things. I'm an editor. I have the biggest earrings out of everybody.
That's what I was going to
hands
say.
down. Let's make sure.
Yep. That's why we bring him on events. He's more of kind of like a sideshow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
And we charge ticket prices for people to come touch.
If you're a
touch
new client and you haven't worked with us, I am totally open to any questions you have about my earlobes.
yeah.
And you're our music man.
Yep, music all the time as much as I can. We've done a few documentaries, and I got to score those, so looking to do more of that in the future. Yeah.
Shameless plug, unshameless plug. But he's also in a really killer band,
That's true.
Strange
Absolutely.
Familia. I almost said My Strange Familia. Strange Familia.
Like you own us,
Yes.
like my,
I am not the manager.
my familia.
Oh, there we go. Well, that's the next cover
That's right.
right around the corner.
I mean, that's basically all I do. What do you do?
I do not do covers.
No.
I had this idea of being a cover band for cover bands. Like you do covers of like the cover band. That would be kind of fun. No,
Coverception.
yeah.
That reminds me of a quote that Prince came out with. This was years ago, and he was in a interview with Barbara Walters, I think. This was back in like the 90s. He was talking about how bad sampling had become in music. He's like, eventually we're going to get to a point where we're taking samples of music that's already been sampled, and
it's already
here we
happening.
are.
Yeah, that's
already
where
happening.
we're at. Yeah.
But anyways,
Everything's
continue.
a copy of a copy. My name's Trevor. What do I do? I
President, CEO.
Yeah.
That sounds way too legit for what I do. I shoot a lot of stuff. I did help assemble some of this. I'd say 20%
of this, what's happening
of what's
right
happening
now.
right now.
I mean,
Brecken did probably a good 75,
you're the one who
80%.
always tells me that 50% of every video is audio. So
Yeah, that's true.
And Trevor loses 20%
Technically.
of all of our stuff
right.
because whether it's a rental car
Yeah.
or
So we've come together to do this podcast as a studio. We've been working together now us three, we've been working together for about 4 or 5 years.
which is wild.
Which is crazy how fast time passes. But we've worked in a lot of different projects. We've worked with a lot of different clients. And we thought it'd be fun to get together and just chat about different projects that we've worked on in the past, some fun stories, some interesting stories, educational moments, things that we've learned, things that have worked, things that haven't worked, so that if you're listening to this right now and you are looking to start creating content, or maybe you're just spinning your wheels, creating content for your company, we're hoping that these little combos will be both entertaining and educational, to just shed some light on what we've done that works, that maybe you could start implementing or that might inspire you, or things that haven't worked and you'd be like, I'm doing that right now. Maybe I should stop doing that.
Or if you're tired of doing content production and you're looking for someone to help supplement that, we're a really fun team to work with. Truthfully.
That too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Unshameless
if we have
plug.
time.
Shameless plug. What's the phrase?
Do we have time?
I think
for that?
shameless. Unshameless would be like a double negative.
Yeah. Unshameless. I'm not ashamed.
I'm not
of it.
ashamed.
I'm fully ashamed.
We're a fun team.
Shame.
I am grateful though, Trev. I feel like you constantly push us to do more creative things. Like, I feel like you're never content. You're always like, what else can we be doing? How else can I push them creatively? And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's the hyperactivity. There's behavioral issues that underlying that. But I'm glad we can, look at the bright side.
Yeah, there's a benefit to every downside has an upside.
I remember asking Brecken one time, I was like, Brecken, like, how do I come across to people, dude? Just like straight up, don't sugarcoat this.
That's a good question.
And he goes, you could be a little much for people.
Really? I would just, the two words that come into my mind are high energy. You're very high energy.
Yeah.
I can share a short story actually about when you and I first met, Trevor. You had so much energy that I was afraid that that it was like not real. I was like, is he like acting to me? Is he like pretending to me because he wants me to like, and then I realized over time that this is just who you are. This is just how it is. I thought it was
and
like,
you know what's funny is that I have that same like, what's the word? Apprehension with people. If they come across like too energetic, too positive or whatever, which is funny because that's me, I'm like questioning like, what is you?
Yeah, what's the deal?
What are you trying to get out of this? Yeah. I was going to say, what are some of those red flags that like somebody could look for? Okay, so like client and agency, right? Like, I mean, we look from our perspective, like when a client comes in, there's going to be certain red flags. I think also like a client reaching out to a creative team, there are some red flags as well on their end.
Absolutely,
What are some things that's like, maybe you're having that discovery call, you're just, starting a project.
I think when a client has a hard time giving constructive feedback, and what I mean by constructive is like saying you don't like something is fine, but trying to be a part of a team and be like, what if we tried this, or can we try this direction instead of just saying I don't like things, because we're there for the client, but if we're not getting any kind of like feedback that takes us somewhere, then it makes it hard to like steer back into the right direction,
I've worked with several people in the past, not even at this job, I'm talking about other jobs, where they would straight up tell me, I don't know what I don't like about this. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, does that mean I need to trash the whole thing and start over? And they'd be like, no, but I know what I don't like. And I'm like, okay, well, what do I do?
Yeah, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want from me?
What do you want from me? I think from like a client's perspective, moving and working, especially with a new creative group, I think you can tell really early on if they have your best interests at heart by the questions that they're asking. If they're quick to throw out ideas, or it's more about the what instead of the why, or like to what end are we doing this, that could be a red flag. Because you're working with a group that's just going to be taking your orders, and you might, obviously you're reaching out to a professional group because you're not a professional in that area. And so you're leaning on their expertise to get you what you want, right? And what we do, a lot of times clients are coming in because they think they know what they want, right? And so it's easy for creatives to be like, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, right? We'll do that, and here are some ideas, instead of bringing it to the professional, and then the professional asking, okay, why are we going to do it that way? Or what's our goal? Who are we talking to? What are we trying to accomplish, right? If they start asking, things like ROI, that's really great. How much are we putting into this? How much are you guys hoping to get out of it? What are we trying to do? Are we trying to sell a certain amount with this? Those kind of questions, I think, really qualify, I think, the creative to be able to work with you, because they're thinking beyond just the visual and the audio, like the technical side, right?
Sure.
That should be kind of assumed that you've got the technical aspect worked out, and we're going to have a really cool idea. But if we don't have at the end of the day a really good goal as to what the strategy is behind what we're creating, that could be a red flag to just indicate maybe you're not working with the most experienced people.
Yeah.
Intent is everything. What is your reason?
Yeah.
What was the reason?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that meme?
No. Well,
Sorry.
we gotta put it up now.
You're aging yourself. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We'll find a clip.
I don't even
Clip
know
it.
what like show it's from. I want to say like a Desperate Housewives, but they're all sitting around the table, and she's like, "What was the reason?" And I don't know.
Jamie, can we get that?
Jamie.
Do we have a Jamie?
I guess it's me for now.
Yeah.
But in speaking of kind of echoing your point or going off of what you were saying, I'm curious what your guys' favorite aspect of, like, I don't want to say onboarding a new client, but when we're starting a brand new project, what's your favorite part? Is it the ideation, the copywriting? Is it the actual directing, shooting, post, audio? What do you guys like? What's your favorite part?
Well, for me, I don't really spend a lot of time with the clients on the front end, but I mean, obviously, I think when you guys come to us with the concept, you know, if the concept hits, then it's like that part of like starting to think about what it's going to look like and how the shooting days are going to be is probably the funnest part. And then also just like once it's shot, seeing it come together, you know, like when a good idea gets knocked out of the park, there's something like very satisfying about like seeing that whole thing come together. But it's kind of broad, you know. There's a lot of parts that are good, but what's funny is those same parts can be terrible. They can be the worst parts if things don't go, you know, well in the beginning.
That's true. Your favorite thing that you love doing can be a nightmare if it's not prepped right. I would say Natasha and I were having this conversation just yesterday about how we spend a lot of time specifically talking about the Around the Sun. There's this docuseries that we've been doing called Around the Sun. And Natasha...
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Natasha spends so much time putting together different ideas based on these cities that we're traveling to, right? And she has to come up with a different kind of feel and personality per episode. We need to like reach out to all these different establishments and people to find like interviews with and all of this. And so we're really like generating these ideas from scratch, like pulling them out of nowhere.
The client essentially came to us with like, hey, I am very inspired by Anthony Bourdain and I want to take his style of on the road journalism and exploration, but make it my brand. And so we were like, okay. And now that we're on episodes 7 and 8?
Yeah.
It's crazy watching them. I didn't mean to take your...
No. But no, this
what
is...
you were going to say, because I knew you were going to say.
Same.
Yeah, it's really, really fun spending all that time piecing together the episodes, coordinating with all these people on all the different parts of the country, and then you get that V1 where you watch the episode and you're just like, oh my God, there's Eddie from Eddie's Grill, and there's the... Bob from the cave with no name, you know, it's
because you
really
have like
cool.
this visual idea of what it's gonna be, but then when you like see all of your hard work like put on the screen with the music and you know and just everything, it's just it's magic. It really is. That's my favorite part too. Is
inspirational.
Is just like
he said, it's magic.
But like conjuring up. I mean, you know. Don't mean to get too woo-woo, right? But like manifesting basically because you're literally pulling ideas from the ether and then we are materializing these, you know, and it's just like, here it is, you know.
And there's so many moving parts. You're just, every time you guys are gone for a trip, I'm just sitting there like hoping everything runs smoothly because I'm not physically there. And if I hear from Rachel, it's either her telling me things are going great or she's like, this person doesn't know that we're here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay.
Sometimes no news is good news.
Yes.
In those scenarios.
I would say, but for me, anytime that something appears as magic, to me, that's my favorite. Seeing people's reaction. I think that's why I love doing events so much. We do a lot of things real time for people. For sure. I remember in the very beginning when we first started doing these, we call them happy face videos.
Why do they... Question, why is it called a happy face video?
I don't know, and I don't know if it's just a Utah thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leave a comment below, let us know. But like everybody in Utah knows the video at the end of the event is a happy face.
Yes.
From
when
like
I first
an
started
AV
working with you guys, you'd be like, oh yeah, they want a happy face video. And I'm like, is that just everyone like...
It's just happy face?
It's a great event. I had no idea what that meant.
Yeah,
Essentially.
just one clip of everyone smiling.
But
like back in the day, we would turn these around so quick, and we still do. But I mean, the technology was just barely there, you know, and I experienced that a little bit this last week or weekend doing Viewfinder.
A content sharing platform.
Download the content real
Yes.
time.
So all
you
your
know.
attendees, they scan a QR code, boom, instant access to all the photos and videos that these lovely gentlemen are capturing, and it's uploaded daily, which is really nice.
Yeah, and
Lifetime
almost, like,
sharing.
Yeah, and multiple times throughout the day. And so people were just like, we are so blown away how you're able to like capture stuff, get it colored and like looking so good. And then in there for us to download just like that. And then also have this edit going that's ready by the end of, and just seeing people's reactions to that. Or it's like a brand new, like crazy idea, you know, maybe there's like a 3D animation that needs to happen, or somebody has this idea. There's like, I don't know if it's possible. And then we do it. Just seeing that reaction, that to me.
Well, and you
is
can
the
see
best.
it in the participants, you know, like, for example, we just went out with Saint to Atlanta, you and I.
Hi, Jency and Natalie.
And it was my first time shooting a Saint event, so a lot of the people didn't know who I was. And so, you know, I'm whenever I start with a client for a video like that, I always try to be very aware that like they don't know me yet. They're not super comfortable with me like being in their face.
You don't know me.
That's right.
What
And-
meme was that?
That's Rick
Jamie!
and Morty.
Yeah.
That's Rick and Morty. You don't know me.
You don't know me. Yeah.
Okay,
When they,
keep going.
yeah, when
So
they
many
go,
references,
go
guys.
into
Wow.
the dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Inception episode.
He just hits her over the head.
Yeah. So dumb.
Sorry.
keep going.
Okay. But yeah, they don't know who I am in the beginning. But what's fun to watch is as like the content's being uploaded and given to them, and then all the way to the end where they get the happy face video at the event, you can see, or I notice they become friendlier. They start to realize like, oh, he's like on our team. He's like trying to get us this stuff so that we have great content to use as participants, but also as like the brand having the opportunity to get that stuff out during the event makes such a difference for their like the reach that the event has when it happens, and not like a week later when you get the
And
stuff.
it's so
you know?
funny because Brecken and I are flipped in that regard. Like, and I think it's so smart. He's like very like humble and just, you know, like unassuming.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna just let my work talk, you know, speak for itself. You know what I mean? And then once they like that, and then they kind of come up to me, then I'll start kind of this friendship, right? I'm like, boom, right out of the gates, like.
Trevor's
As you
like,
know.
smile.
I'm like, selfies. Like, I'm like best friends with them
Yeah.
before they've seen any of my work. So the pressure on me after, I'm like, oh shit, this has got to be good.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funny.
ADHD over there.
Hey, you know, everyone's got their method, you know? And
Yeah.
see, I like to keep it low key because most of these, they always have a dance party at some point. And I like to be like unassuming, kind of play it cool. And then once, you know, we're done filming for the night, get on the floor and just be like, what's up? You know, and then
Swag Daddy comes out.
I love the sound of everyone cheering because they're all like so surprised, like, what is this man doing? You know, and that the payoff is just too good. So I got to keep it low key
It's
until
simply
that time.
too good.
Too good.
Question.
I got to figure out how to make money on this.
So when you're looking or when you're capturing a moment on film, what are you looking through?
Ooh, yeah.
Like what is
what
that
are- what are
called?
you looking
What are you
at?
looking through when you're trying to capture them?
It's a viewfinder.
Oh snap!
Oh shit.
Bam!
Full circle.
Trademarked.
And your own lens.
And
yeah.
your own lens.
Yeah.
Going back to creating magic at events or
Yes.
even in post production, what have you, there's one thing AI will never be able to do, and that is capture someone's like genuine experience, happiness, joy, a moment. Like AI can create it from all these other moments that have happened, but it can't capture a real one.
Right.
And that's where we come in.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Customized content until we have robots that can hold cameras that are more agile and better than. I mean, that's probably.
Did you
not
see
too far.
And more-
Chipotle
and
is
more
testing out robots
And more
to
personal. Better
make
dancers.
their bowls and stuff?
Oh yeah, I did see that. I
That's
did see
scary.
that. That is scary.
I'm
So-
already not a huge Chipotle fan. That's just going to take it down on the list even farther for me.
Valid.
yeah.
I feel like I'm like
Chipotle
mad
was
at
already
AI,
bad,
but
yeah.
then I'm not because it's just the natural transgression of like progression of humans.
Would that be Chipotle AI?
That was like a Freudian slip,
I
the
can't say
natural transgression
It
of
was
humanity.
a Freudian slip. It makes me nervous.
Yeah,
it makes
me
me
too, me
nervous.
too.
I'm like, we're all gonna. I know you love AI. Why do you love AI? I'm curious.
Oh, I am just accepting the inevitable.
Yeah.
Got you.
I just
is-
embrace it.
Yeah, it's
because
coming.
there's no other choice.
Well, and I'd be lying if because I would say I'm more in the Luddite kind of world of AI. I barely use it, but there are some instances where I've been using it recently that I do enjoy, like in music production. There's always been AI mastering tools and like other AI plugins and things like that. But I actually been working with this company called Techovation. They've been sending me plugins just to review and take photos of. And they have a line of simple to use AI plugins that have been coming out. And I've been finding them very they work well. They're easy. They sound good.
What do they do?
There's a couple different ones. One that I use all the time is called it's called AI Clarity. And it essentially listens to the signal of whatever you're sending through it, whether it's like a single track or a whole mix or just a bus of a few tracks, and analyzes the signal and then decides for you what needs to be cleaned up. That's why it's called Clarity, because it cleans up like frequencies that may be too harsh or just like too much, taking up too much space. And I've been using it on like single vocal tracks or even entire mixes. And it basically has one slider that is the amount of the effect, basically. And I've been finding it refreshing to use.
Wow. He talks about audio stuff, and all I hear is a scoop, scuba doobin, a shooba dooba doobin. It makes me over my head. I'm like, cool. It sounds great.
That would make such a great meme. Just like Brecken's audio just like lowers, and then you just hear the scoobity bop.
You know the
audio, music sound.
You know the meme of the woman
Microphone.
who like she's like looking like this, and there's just math problems.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
That was me. I was trying to figure out what you meant. I was like, they're nice.
Very
You
nice.
do good.
You make music.
So you make music at the end of the day? Okay. We should talk about AI for a second, though, because like I think there is like this question from a lot of people, like how is every company implementing AI, right? Because it's not just creatives. I mean, every single company is having to implement AI. You asked me like if I love AI. I mean, I would say that up to this point, I actually really do. I
knew you did.
Yes.
I know
I
you
don't.
do.
I don't keep that hidden.
You have an AI tattoo.
Yes, I do. We won't show it on camera.
It was done by an AI tattoo artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I actually asked AI what tattoo I should get. That would be the worst.
Yeah.
Worst
Kind
idea.
of interesting, though.
No, you know what? ChatGPT would probably make a better decision on what tattoo I should get than I would.
Yeah.
For
honestly.
sure. But anyway,
It just says don't.
don't. Better than no regrets, right?
Yeah, that's right.
On your face.
Yeah.
If we could let the AI focus on more like menial tasks, then we can focus on the bigger picture tasks, you know? But some of my favorite AI tools so far, anyway, is number one, Adobe Podcast Enhance.
Yeah.
It's an amazing tool. You can be in a very, echoey room or just bad audio, or the person's like away from the camera. In fact, we actually we had some audio where the person was literally talking and we were just going through the mic on the camera because we didn't have anything else. We brought it into that and it literally sounded like this. It sounded like, and it's not 100%, right?
Well,
but it does a pretty damn good job.
I want to jump in on that one because that's another one. Like I said, I'm more of, I'm not like against AI, but I am wary of certain things. But that's one tool that I feel like when I heard it for the first time, I was like, get out of here. I was like, there's no way this is that good.
Yeah, I fell on the ground.
It's like, it's one of those things. It's insane. That actually brings up another one that I'll quickly touch on. It's another audio one. Logic Pro has a new feature called Stem Splitter. And you can put
Is this like Fader?
It is like Fader.
Okay.
The nice thing is it's integrated right in,
Right.
So you could put a full song with vocals, drums, guitar, all the instruments, and you can set the stem splitter to extract each piece and make it a separate track. And the audio examples I've heard of it have blown me away. Just like how, like you could, who's to say it stops anyone from sampling any song?
That's insane. Yeah.
Which is kind of scary and crazy.
It's crazy.
But it works in a similar way too. I've used it to like strip drum bleed out of vocals and like make the vocal tight and crispy and it's just amazing.
I haven't used that one specifically, but I've used Fader for when we're doing like interviews with people and there's a lot of background noise. For example, we had to do an interview with a couple of people and there was a full-on band playing. It was like this you know,
La 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 bamba.
just like that as I'm talking. And afterwards, we brought it into Fader and did the stem, you know, the vocal extraction, took the voice out perfectly, and then we just ran that through Adobe Podcast. It was like we were in this like quiet room. We actually had to introduce a little bit of like noise or
That's
background
wild.
audio. Yeah, it's crazy what AI is able to do. And then just denoising filters, you know, cleaning up backgrounds, background extensions. You know, you can take, for example, if you're shooting something horizontal, now we can take it in and we can create a vertical video off of that pretty simply. Like we were just shooting something for Tooth Pillow. Hi, Chad. And all of our clients.
I know.
As if any of our clients are going to watch
They're gonna,
this.
they
I'm just
might.
kidding.
They're going to be our first audience. We're like, we gave you a shout out.
Yeah. But yeah, we were, you know, there were two people sitting there and we couldn't quite get wide enough for the vertical for social media. So I was like, well, let's just get as wide as we can. And then when we brought in post, just went into Midjourney and just basically, or no, not even Midjourney. It was Photoshop, and just did set extension.
Yeah, because it's a static shot, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to move or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just generated that part of the room, and we just slapped that on, and now we're in this bigger room, and it's all branded, and it looks awesome. So things like that we wouldn't, they're not replacing anybody's work. They're just enhancing what we can do already and then speeding up the process by which we can do things. You know what I mean? So
Do you think AI will ever be able to produce a full feature film?
well, we've seen that it's already doing that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
Trevor-
that makes me nervous.
Trevor sent me this thing that blew my mind. It's a full sketch comedy show that was written and shot all by AI. Like not literally shot, so I guess it would be more like created by AI. But
But in order for AI to create a joke, doesn't it have to go off of jokes that have already been created?
it may have, and that could be a logistical and legal issue. But it made me laugh, like, and no human like had made it, you know. And
Okay.
the jokes may have been a conglomerate, you know, made up for other people's jokes, but it worked on me. It made me laugh.
It
so.
worked on me.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, the input to all of AI is just all of human experience up to this point that we've input into the internet. So it's like the
That
mother
is
brain.
so weird.
So any comedy it's pulling from, but the comedy is not great. Like sometimes it hits and sometimes
Yeah.
it's weird.
That's what's funny about
but that's
it,
what's
though.
kind of funny about
It's like you know, it's almost like they just like threw the dice, you know, like you're leaving it to chance. And I think some of the skits are only funny because they just make no sense, right? Like there's no like payoff, but the payoff is in the chaos of it. So it's not quite like setup and punchline like most comedy is. It's more like I would say it's kind of similar to Tim Robinson, which is funny because I'm sure he would hate to be compared to AI, but I'm just like his comedy is not so much based on like the punchline. It's like the story is what's funny.
just the
you know.
situation is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the scenario. Yeah.
You guys know I'm not joking when I say this. Part of me wishes I was a stand-up comedian. I have written a stand-up
up.
comedy show.
You should do a type 5. Go
You
down and
should.
do the
You
open
should.
mic.
Oh, but the thought of
All right.
saying a joke and having nobody laugh makes me want to throw up. I'm
mean,
like, I
that's
don't know.
the-
If I can.
If you guys
That's
are
the
here for
trade-off.
Natasha's stand-up, comment below.
I cannot.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's in my phone just in case Netflix ever calls me and is like, "You ready?" I'm like, "I'm ready."
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, dude. Okay.
I got bars. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm gonna call from just a random number. This is Netflix. We're ready.
I
That-
can't stand you.
that is
That's
the
a good.
Netflix.
Okay, if I could do a English accent pretty well, whatever voice that
In a
is.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
I'll put some reverb on that in post.
Hey. Okay. So I am on Voice 123. I do voice.
You do
over-
voice acting
I do
work?
voice acting work.
Shameless. Shameless.
On
plug.
shameless plug.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've only been hired once actually.
I'm like, all right. I feel dumb now.
Yeah.
Okay, but my prediction though for the future with AI, with what we do though, is I think that stock footage is going to be less and less of a thing, like paid stock footage, because we're going to be able to go in and just prompt exactly what we want. So that's awesome. So
Yeah.
like the ideas that we have when we're like creating these beat boards, you know, for different projects, we can really just think outside the box. Anything you can imagine, basically, we're going to be able to prompt AI and it'll spit it out. What is going to take a lot more time, and I don't know how this is going to how it would happen, but is the custom content, right? Like what
Yeah.
Natasha was saying, like an event of 1,000 people that all have like custom experiences and, you know, are real people, and there's a real event happening, you know, and you need to capture that and the experiences and the emotion of that. That's hard, right? With AI, that's impossible. But generic ideas, you know, and things that could have been like stock or 3D animation type stuff, that kind of stuff is going to be much easier to create, which is really going to cause quite a shift in the industry in a different way, right? For anybody that's doing like stock type stuff. And I would say with music too, you know.
I was listening to, there's this guy that I really enjoy listening to. His name's Gino the Ghost. And he did a whole or many episodes on AI and music, because there's like companies, not like Fader, but other ones that you can input a prompt of like, I want something with a 70s bass line that's pop and has a female vocalist, and it'll just spit out a song, you know?
Yeah.
And the song that he prompted was like not terrible. I mean,
totally.
You can tell that it's not human made, but what he was explaining is that the lowest tier of creators, like, and he's shameless about this, he's just like, the lowest tier of people who like do the most basic stuff, you better watch out.
Yep.
He's like, AI is coming for like that lower tier. So it's like, in a way though, is there a benefit to that? Because we're kind of in a world of content right now that like anybody can make stuff and put it out, and we're so saturated. So if AI starts to become a thing where it's like better than the like bottom 10, 20% of creators, in a way, I'm like, you really have to be good at making things. And that could be good for creation in the long run, just because back in the day, I feel like before the internet and things, you had to push to be the best to make it out there as a musician or a videographer or a performer, or, you know, you had to kind of like be a cut above. Whereas now, since you can just like input your stuff online and just put it out, doesn't matter really. Like, you set the bar for where you think is good enough.
Yep.
So
I was gonna say, I feel myself drawn, at least on Instagram, the people that I follow currently, outside of friends and family members, are people who I feel are pushing their own brand of creativity and their own like unique spin on life. And I hope that we never lose that like human touch, that human component, even as AI, you know, continues to take over and robots become a thing and we start getting chips implanted in our brains. Like, I just hope there's still like humanness. I love humans. I love people.
Yeah, same.
You know?
I think that's the biggest scare, is that we'll, you know, in like 200 years, would we recognize ourselves, you know, or will we be a completely different thing?
Another tool that we use almost daily here at the studio is ChatGPT. I actually use it in my personal life a lot. We use it all the time. I think that you don't have to be a professional writer or, you know, or in this space to get a lot of, you know, advantage from using ChatGPT. And in fact, like, I would say, like, you know, before coming to any professional team, you know, for any project, really spend some time in ChatGPT and ideate and kick things around and, you know, spend some time.
I wrote down some prompts as well.
Yeah.
The one that I want to bring up is actually the lowest of the tier, but
Good.
I think it's
Let's
kind
start
of
there.
light and interesting. Paloma and I were kind of debating this at the park. The question I wrote down is, what is a meme?
What is a meme?
What is a
What
meme?
is a meme?
Because maybe this will spark some thoughts. Her and I were talking about it, and she's like, a meme is a photo that's like funny, and I'm like, no, a meme is a concept. That's what I was
Yes,
saying. And she's
that's
like,
what I
no,
said.
it's not. It's just a photo.
Well, because I've seen like sometimes I refer to memes in their videos,
Yeah.
but when I'm talking about it, the medium doesn't matter. Like, if I'm telling Nay, like, oh yeah, I saw this meme, I'm not telling her, oh, I saw this video meme or I saw this photo meme. I'm just telling her, I saw this meme and this is what it was.
Exactly.
So
I think
would
it's
say
a condensed
it's a concept.
it's a condensed
It's a little-
conceptualization of like an idea. It's like
It's a little jokey joke.
Yeah, it came up because you guys remember the meme of the person with the Dora backpack that was like backpack, but like
Yes.
stealing shit.
Yes.
And she was like, "That's not a meme, that's a reel." And I was like, "But it's a meme." Like, and that's where the conversation. And I was like, "This is an interesting thing," because I'm like, to me, meme could be any form of content that is like trying to quickly like show like a juxtaposition or like a funny something, you know. You know,
I
Isn't
just
that-
found a whole like page of not funny memes, and I'm looking at them, and yes, there's a ton of memes that aren't funny.
Oh, okay.
Just anything that's like that you can relate to, right? Or
Relatable
Is
something
meme
that's
content.
like
short for memory?
could be. Yeah, I'm trying
Ooh.
to see
I don't
here.
know.
I'm just looking at the definition.
Can you
Let's see.
imagine historians 40 years from now? They're like, what did we get from the early 20th century? And they're like, memes.
a shit ton of memes.
Memes
Should I-
and GIFs.
Let me read
Hey,
this
but
aloud.
that's like our modern day hieroglyphics.
exactly.
I'll give you that.
Here we go. Here we go. The word meme comes from the Greek. I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to try. Mimema. The Greek or mimema.
Mamma Mia?
Mimema.
Mamma mia.
Meaning, let's see, meaning something that has been imitated.
Okay. Okay, so it's maybe like
I'm
a
even more
popular.
confused.
Maybe it's a popular idea
So,
that's just been imitated.
This is interesting too. Richard Dawkins was the first one to introduce the word meme.
I actually heard that like a
Yeah.
couple months ago.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
remember that somewhere back in my brain. That was like,
Yeah.
what a funny guy to bring
Came
this
up
in.
with meme.
But also, he's like a contrarian, so it makes sense.
And I'm sure when he first coined it, it wasn't like a funny meme. He was
Yeah.
probably talking about this meme that we have as a society, right?
Yeah, right now.
And we turned it into a little
Silliness.
jokey joke.
Yeah, little jokey jokes.
Yeah.
Little jokey jokes.
Yeah.
But I mean, but on that idea of like memes, though, it's like the power of a meme, right?
Sure.
I think like as a company, when you're marketing, coming up with little memes that basically condense down what you do into an idea
Sure.
that you can visually like represent and communicate very simply.
This is why I wrote it down, is because I'm
Yeah.
like, this is funny to talk about and interesting, but I'm also like, we communicate and market through memes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
All
was
of
going to
us,
say
you know?
that it has taken off. You see a ton of businesses now that take famous memes and have their own spin on it, but it has become like a marketing tool, especially in the digital era we live in with social media. It's
And
become its own thing.
I think when I think of a meme too, I think of like two different ideas that come together to basically describe a point or an idea,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like when you see a meme, it's typically like text that has nothing to do with like the image you're seeing, but the image is a cat and the cat's freaking out.
Yeah.
But then the text is something that's relatable about something else. You know what I mean? So it's these two concepts that you're aware of and you're familiar with, but you like mash them together and it makes it that much more powerful
You know
and
how
that much
many-
more memorable.
Yes. You know how many times I've shown my mom a meme and the first thing she says is, "Who is that?" I'm like, "Mom, I don't know this person. This is not a friend of mine."
You should just start making up names.
Yeah. I'm like, "That's Jeremy. Just watch the video."
Yeah, exactly.
Can you
That's my
just
buddy
laugh?
Jeremy. Just watch it.
Love you, Mom.
She can't get past the
I remember when like social media started becoming a thing, Apple, iCloud, like all of that stuff. Remember when we had to pay for music,
Yeah.
99 cents a song?
Crazy.
I mean, you had some songs that were $1.29.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, shit.
And then
must
you
be a
had
good song.
premium.
LimeWire. Do you guys remember LimeWire?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
Too much.
God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Napster.
LimeWire was good and bad.
I just
LimeWire was naughty.
I remember my mom
quite
would
naughty.
call me and she'd be like, "Mia, what's the password for my iCloud?" I'm like, "I don't know your password for your iCloud.
Yeah, what?
I have no idea."
How would I know that?
Yeah, try my name because I'm the favorite.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Do you guys remember Photo Bucket?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
God, I
Photo
remember
Bucket and Flickr.
carrying around a
That was like
digital
MySpace
camera in my
times.
purse. And when I was like in college, I'd have my camera, my iPod, my phone, like a purse. I don't even carry a purse now. It's just so crazy. You'd get like the HTML code, plug it into your MySpace page. That's where my editing began.
Yeah.
As an
Yeah.
editor.
Yeah.
Absolutely. MySpace.
I'm not an editor, but
MySpace was like I remember because I was in bands at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to like make your personal MySpace, customize it to you, but then I had to have a band one and I customized the band one to like promote us, you know?
it was so cool. I always wonder why I loved having a music on my MySpace page. And I wish we
Oh,
could
yeah.
put music on emails. Like I send a lot of emails for I mean, I'm talking about marketing emails, not
Sure.
just like work emails.
Yeah.
Sure.
But like how fun would it be to open an email and have a song with it?
It's like,
I'm like, come on, MailChimp, get with it.
yeah, exactly.
You open it, it's just
More like-
screamo.
More like Mar- Yeah. Yeah. Don't open that one.
Yeah, every time it gets me.
What do you think is next for social media?
Wait,
Like,
before
what
we
Wait,
go,
before we go.
Before
we go.
I had a bit that I wanted to do, and it's way not going to hit now that I'm doing it after. You said get with it, MailChimp, and I was like, more like Mail Simp.
Mail
Mail Simp. Oh, hey, that would be a good product.
Like Mail
Write
Simp.
that down.
Yeah.
Mailsimp.com.
Their webpage is
it-
like, dun, dun, dun,
That's right.
dun. Welcome to email marketing. Reimagined. Dun,
It's just desperate.
Red velvet.
Yeah. That's right.
How would a client be able to use a meme to market themselves?
That's a very nuanced question because memes, the well of memes is deep.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's very wide and deep. So I think it's also, I feel like a lot of companies you see force it. You know, they find a meme that like one person on the team is like, oh, this meme is hot right now. But by the time they create something
Yeah.
with it,
Yeah,
You gotta
it's-
be quick.
it's old,
yeah, you got to be way quick if you're going to use like a relevant meme. But I have seen success with companies who they create their own meme. Like if you can make something that is memeable, then that's like you've won the lottery.
You've just won the
Yes.
meme lottery. Yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna say,
Yep.
make it quick, digestible. It has a short shelf life. That's a mouthful. A short shelf life. But I think it pushes like a brand or a business to be more creative.
Yeah.
You know, for sure.
And I think there's a couple different kinds of memes that like a company could use to their advantage. One, if they're doing like quick social media type stuff, they could, if they're fast, use like a popular meme, right? And then just like riff off of that.
Which
You
could
know,
give you good traction.
Yeah.
A good solid week of exposure.
yeah, just
I
real
think-
quick, just to turn some heads. You
I
know,
think meme audio, like not necessarily just visuals, but audio that's trending and
Yes.
is like silly. That's a quick one because you can hear the audio and just have a concept and film it and go. You know,
the second meme though could just be that question of, okay, how can we create our own meme? And I know that sounds like you have this visual of like, okay, what little GIF can we create that's going to go viral? And that's not the case.
yeah,
What a meme is, and I'm glad you brought this up because I picture a meme for a company anyway. It basically is just marrying a couple concepts that people are going to relate with, right? And bringing them together where you are at the middle. You're kind of like that bridge, or what you offer, is, what's being communicated.
when it comes to like creating a meme, I think sometimes like a company or a creative team could get lost in the weeds trying to make this tiny piece of content like that hits. I think sometimes I think looking at the content you make in a different way, like instead of being like we need to make a meme, setting out to be like aware that you want that. Because I think some of the funniest stuff we've seen for ourselves is when we shot something that was serious or was supposed to be, and there's a funny moment that doesn't make it to the final edit because it just gets cut.
Right.
But I think changing your brain to be thinking about those type of things, because in those moments you might be like, oh, well, that's silly for like the final, but as a piece of promotion, it
True.
could be like, some silly thing happens on the set, and then that promotes what's coming next or something. Being aware of
yeah.
memeability, like
Yes.
as like a
Yes.
general thing instead of
Yeah.
setting out to like let's create a meme, which I think you can do, but that's the amount of work it's gonna take to get something that hits versus if it actually works at the end. I think the funnel is this way, whereas if you look at it the other way, you have a lot more opportunities.
Yeah, and like
For sure.
the virality of something like that. And I guess, I mean, this is a question that I would have for you guys. Do you feel like there's ever, and I'm sure there are, right? There are certain clients and projects that are like, you don't joke around,
No
of course.
sillies, no funnies.
But I mean, like, I'd say, I don't know, 9 times out of 10, what do you guys think as far as like, that companies can't go wrong by like not taking themselves too serious? That's
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing. I think most companies and clients out there, they just,
yeah.
and I think we all do.
I think,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
I
We
don't
take
think
ourselves
enough
too
brands
serious.
spend enough time building a personality for
Yeah.
their
Yeah,
brand that
right.
differs from just who they are.
Yeah,
As like
right.
the owners or the people who work there. Like,
Yeah.
who is your brand? Like, if your brand was going to be personified, what does that person look like? What do they do?
And
do
would
they
I want to hang out?
enjoy?
Would you want to hang out with
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
person?
I think humility equals relatability for sure.
Self-deprecating humor goes a long way.
That was so deep.
Yeah, it was.
Hallmark.
Yeah.
What do you meme? I've been dying to do that since we started talking about memes.
She's been bottling it up.
I had to get it out.
Exactly. It was going to explode. Yep. Sorry, I just spit. I don't know who I spit on.
That's called gleeking.
Yeah. Oh, man. Sometimes when you get a good one, it gets all
You
over.
guys, there's
I love
nothing
that.
more embarrassing than being in a conversation with somebody and gleeking on them.
It's bad.
Oh, yes.
Because it's like, do you say something?
Exactly.
Do
You
you like
just pretend it didn't
apologize or do you
happen.
pretend it didn't happen?
There's a difference between like, oh, I just like a little spit. A gleek is like when your gland like, and you have like
Disgusting.
a stream
Yeah,
of,
if you're like eating and
know.
something comes out, it's one thing. But you're just talking normal and you get your tongue up
Embarrassing.
in the
Yeah.
wrong way and it just goes.
You know the
So
dinosaur
fountain.
in Jurassic Park, and that shoots the shit. When you're that thing, that's not good for a combo.
Yeah. If the person you're talking to goes falling down a hill, whoops.
Yeah.
I wonder if they don't notice.
Speaking of like memes though in Jurassic Park, that one of the creator, or he's running out with the 2 margaritas. Like, see, that was
that's
one
a
of those
good one.
moments that
Yeah.
I don't think they planned it and it just happened while they were
Yeah.
filming and that took off.
Yeah.
Totally. And that's the beauty of actually creating a lot of content. So like as a company, you can never create too much content.
Yeah.
You know, and so as you're creating that content and you're sharing it, you're going to find little gems, and like Brecken was saying, I think most of those gems are not planned.
Yeah.
Not planned. But you've got to also be able to have the eye to look for those. Because if you're too kind of caught up in like, we need to look a certain way, we can't show people that we're kind of, a little loose or we
Being
like to have
perfect
fun
isn't
or whatever.
cool anymore.
It's just not. It's not. And
Being
it's not attractive.
relatable is.
Putting it out there that we are all like, no, none of us are perfect. We all have imperfections, and kind of like pointing light and poking fun at those, makes you much more relatable and much more likely that people are going to like watch through your stuff.
Sure.
But what I was going to say was being able to look for those moments and then really just like put those in a spotlight, I think is something that most won't do. And so that is definitely a way to stand out. But like you could create your own memes like that over time if you're smart and you're looking for them,
aware of it. Yeah.
But also, if you are a creative, if you're working the creative world, I highly suggest reading the book The 4 Agreements by Paul Ruiz.
Okay.
It is
I've heard of
so
this.
good. It's a short, easy read. There is a couple parts that are a little hoo-ha, but at the core, it really teaches you how to approach everything from a scope of like what you do in your life is like it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
What the project you create, like we're creating it for a client, right? They're not.
Sure.
I just would highly suggest it. It's a really good book.
I actually had a therapist of mine recommend that book to me. Never read it, so
What
I
book
have
is it? Sorry, I missed
The
it.
4 Agreements. You can
Ooh, I
borrow it.
have read it.
I'm
Yes,
more of
that is a good book.
More of an audiobook guy actually, but
Yeah.
I will find it on there because
That's a good one.
I think
And it's
it-
short too.
It's short.
Well, guys, it's been quite the podcast today.
yeah.
It has been.
I think this is a good place to maybe hang up our hat for this first one. As sad as that is, I could keep chatting all day.
You guys didn't wear any hats, so
And in fact,
what are you gonna do?
next time we could do like different kinds of hats. You
Yeah.
know, like our commercial that we did for Yankum Ropes. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Construction worker hat.
That's the
miner
only
hat.
time I've ever been on a set where we blew some shit up.
Yeah, we blew some.
We
shit
didn't do it.
up.
There was literally a fire crew there
Yeah,
to
yeah.
blow up this car.
That's
That was
dope.
so fun.
It was fun. It literally, I had a microphone that was like kind of hidden, placed away, and I was like, "This will be great. It'll get the explosion." Had the input really low. I was like so proud of it. And then after the explosion, I go over there and it's laying on the ground. The explosion literally just blew it away. Yeah. So
Any little ideas from this podcast that inspired you guys for our podcast name?
I did the worst and was not thinking of it at all.
I really like the idea of having it tie into audio somehow.
I think so too.
Because-
kind of like Viewfinder.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. You know who would be great to consult on this?
ChatGPT. Your best friend.
So
Why don't you
now
just
when-
marry it?
So now,
Yeah.
oh, done. So now, I would never win an argument.
Yeah.
Do you want to harmonize?
I think so. I think.
Okay, well, that was horrible.
We're never harmonizing again. We're
Yeah.
never doing that.
Do you guys remember Out of the Box? It was like, so
Out
long,
of the box.
farewell. to you,
My friend. Yes, of course. I just watched that the other day, and it was like, oh my.
You know what would be fun is to ask AI to make a outro song for us.
An outro song for us, yeah.
Yeah, and
Something
have
that
it be
we
like
can
Will it
silly.
do that?
sing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it will.
What?
And by the way, that app, if you're looking for a music making AI app, it's Suno.
Suno.
That's the one I use anyway.
Let's try it.
Suno.ai.
Let's make an outro.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We are going to create an AI little outro song and intro, and that's what you're going to hear right now. We'll see you on the next
From
one.
stories wild to facts we know, together we'll make our ideas grow. Free education's the magic key to be the best you can be. Podcast playtime, sing it loud. Creating content makes us proud. With every twist and every turn, there's always something fun to learn.